Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 270 based on novel. So let's start. Hey, have you heard that this second stage test is actually a soul test? Damn it, soul power is a mysterious thing. Except for alchemists and some guys who practice soul power, who else can participate in this stage of the competition? Isn't this an obvious trick to trick us? After all, although our fighting spirit is not weak, but in the hands of the tyrannical soul powerhouses, the fighting skills have not yet been displayed, and they are interfered by their soul power. One thing is going up and one down, and we will only lose. Lei Jieji, in the middle of the mountain range where tens of thousands of disciples lived, there was an endless stream of complaints. Hey, boy, if you don't sign up, just go. Didn't you see that there was a way for Uncle Ben to sign up? Xiao Yan, a man and two women, slowly came to the sign-up point, and was immediately reprimanded by a strong man behind him. This registration point is impressively set in a bamboo garden. Outside the bamboo garden, there are already sparse figures queuing up to sign up, and there are very few people signing up. Hey, it's really a beauty and a disaster, Xiao Yang said helplessly. Obviously, Liu Qing's body is spotless like a hibiscus, and Yu Ran looks like a big sister. The two girls are not only beautiful. Just like a stunner, even his temperament is the best choice, causing Xiao Yang some unnecessary troubles. Yu Ran's brows furrowed when she heard the words, but she suddenly lost her voice when she saw the first-rank alchemist medal on the chest of the strong man. Humph. It's just a small emperor-rank first-grade pharmacist. Liu Qing's eyebrows swayed, and the dazzling soul power was released directly, making his figure couldn't help but be slightly afraid. What a tyrannical soul power. It seems that these three are the masters who can't be provoked. The strong man also had the intention of retreating. He just wanted to hide in all directions, but he saw the man between the two women, who seemed to be in his own hands. There was something on his chest, and he couldn't help but glance. Immortal level pharmacist. How is that possible? But with a slight swipe, it made the strong man feel like a thunderbolt, his body tense and motionless. Now, can you make a move? Xiao Yang put on the pharmacist's medal, and then asked lightly without wasting too much time with the strong man in front of him. My lord, please forgive me for not knowing Mount Tai. These are some emperor-rank medicinal pills. Although they are of low rank, they will compensate you a little bit. I hope that the adults will not care about what happened just now. My lord, please. The figure of the strong man was sweating, and a fear of death permeated his heart. The person he provoked was an alchemist of the fourth rank of immortal rank and heaven rank. If an existence of this level wants to plot against him, I am afraid it will be enough for him to die 100 times. The next applicant. After a while, a rather lazy voice came from the bamboo garden. Sir, please. The strong man directly drove away all the figures who were queuing in front of Xiao Yang and the others. Then Xiao Yang and the others were the next applicants. The three of them laughed helplessly when they saw this. Let's go. Xiao Yang nodded lightly, then walked in. It is said that the adult in charge of registration has a very bad temper. I hope these guys can be lucky. The heavy responsibility outside Zhuyuan said with a heavy heart. Where's the person who signed up? Just entered the bamboo garden, and immediately saw a pavilion surrounded by lake water. The four treasures of the pen, ink, paper, inkstone, and study on the round table were all in the bamboo garden, but no one was seen. The next moment, the three figures just walked towards the pavilion in the center of the lake, and the surrounding lake suddenly appeared in front of the three in a strange appearance. The lake water actually formed a ferocious snake head in front of the three of them, and roared at the three of them. Among the ferocious snake heads, there was no ordinary fluctuation of fighting spirit, and some were just an extremely dazzling spiritual pressure. In the shape of a soul condensate, this guy is a strong man. With just a glance, Xiao Yang also smelled some other breaths from the head of this hideous snake. The hideous snake head composed of lake water did not retreat at all, and rushed towards Xiao Yang and the three of them. However, when it was about to hit Xiao Yang, an invisible soul wave instantly cracked the hideous snake head. Go! Oh! Little guy, it's interesting. When he noticed this scene, a white-haired old man suddenly appeared above the pavilion. I saw the old man lying flat on a reclining chair in the pavilion, shaking slightly. Senior, the three of us have come to sign up. Xiao Yang said with a slight smile. A fourth-grade celestial alchemist. Wonderland soul? Boy, who is your master? The next moment, the old man stood up straight from the reclining chair, and in just a moment, he came to Xiao Yang. The tutor is named Yarrow Lao, Xiao Yang said with a slight smile. Yarrow Lao? The old man was puzzled when he heard the words. Obviously, based on his experience, he had never heard of such a person above Dongju. However, it is normal to have not heard of it. After all, Yarrow Lao is still above the Doqi continent, but Yarrow Lao is Xiao Yang's only teacher above the refining technique, so what Xiao Yang said is not without reason. What a hell! Why is an immortal rank 4th grade heaven rank pharmacist so worthless? The next moment, the white-haired old man said depressedly, "Oh, senior, is it possible that among the contestants who signed up this time, who else is?" Xiao Yang heard the words. He didn't care too much at first, but the next moment he asked. "That guy is the direct disciple of the president of the Alchemist Association. His refining skills should be similar to yours, but his soul power hurts more than you," said the white-haired old man. "Forget it, I have registered for you and hurry up. This is too shocking." The old man took a pen and wrote down the registration information of Xiao Yang and the three of them on the white paper. "Are these guys all monsters? They have reached the pinnacle of the 4th grade immortal pharmacist at such a young age. This makes us live for hundreds of years and has not reached this level. What kind of face is this old guy?" The old man said very depressed. "Master, what are you looking for from me? If you have something to tell me, I'm still waiting to refine the medicinal pill you explained to me last time." In the inner courtyard of the Alchemist Association, a man and a woman slowly appeared. "You are just too stubborn. A few days ago, someone came to our Alchemist Association to conduct a pharmacist level assessment. At that time, I was not in the association, so I asked Tan Chen to take care of me. That's a little guy, about the same age as you, but his soul power has reached the middle stage of the Fairyland Taishu, and the assessment level has succeeded in the 4th grade fairy rank." The president of the Alchemist Association spoke softly, his voice full of there was a deep worry. "Who is he? I want to see him." After Qian Ying finished speaking, her beautiful eyes suddenly filled with hostility, and she spoke immediately. "I'll build a soul channel for you tonight, you can go meet him." The president of the Alchemist Association did not shy away, he spoke directly. With his strength, he would naturally be able to let his precious disciple and Xiao Yang have a relaxed soul contest without being discovered by others. "Thank you, master. No one can stop me from winning the championship." The woman smiled playfully, her voice was full of extreme confidence. Under this confidence, her soul power was actually stronger than Xiao Yang. Since the three Xiao Yang signed up and went back, they each said goodbye and went back to their residences, and Xiao Yang was not idle, and directly took out the thunder explosion technique to practice. Although the thunder explosion technique is only suitable for the cultivation of thunder attribute Do Qi, after Xiao Yang replaced the thunder attribute Do Qi with fire attribute Do Qi, Xiao Yang was a little surprised at the speed of the explosion. After all, the Valley Master also said that thunder explosion is a martial art, and the speed depends on the strength of his own Do Qi, and Xiao Yang's fire attribute has been tempered by the nourishment of the holy flame. The power is much stronger than that of the great celestial seed, so it is not surprising to have such a speed. With this fighting skill, it is extremely convenient to chase or escape in the future. "I still need to practice more." Xiao Yang was content to follow the operation line of the thunder explosion technique, and continued to calculate, and then he became more and more familiar with the speed control. The night is always quiet. At this time, the Thunder Realm is quite quiet, and you can actually see the stars in the night sky. "Are you ready?" Not long after, the inner courtyard of the Lei Cheng Alchemist Association was a vast area, and the figures of an old man and a handsome figure slowly appeared. "Master, let's get started." Qian Yingbei's lips moved slightly, and there was a trace of terrifying fluctuations in her eyes. "In that case, let's get started." The old man is the current president of the Alchemist Association, and his strength and soul power are so tyrannical, even in the entire Thunder Realm, few people can match him. As the president of the Alchemist Association made his move, in this void, a wave of dazzling souls wriggled slightly, and a door to the void that resembled a space channel was vaguely formed in front of the two. "Yun Qi, come in." The president of the Alchemist Association said dotingly to the woman in front of him. Yun Qi, now recognized as a genius in the Alchemist Association, a direct disciple of the president of Alchemist Association, his strength has reached the perfection of the two-star Do Xian, and his soul power has reached the peak of the middle stage of Taishu, and he is only one step away from the later stage. The talent is strong and enviable. Yes. Yun Qi's beautiful eyes flickered slightly, then closed his eyes slightly, a dazzling soul force emerged from his body, and then followed the soul channel colluded by the president of the Alchemist Association, towards the Thunder Realm. Yun Qi also wanted to participate in this soul competition, but after the registration was over, he left Leijie and returned to Lei Cheng for meditation, so there was this scene. What? What is this? In Xiao Yang's originally quiet house, a rather tyrannical soul fluctuation appeared slightly. The energy intensity of this soul fluctuation was actually several times more tyrannical than Xiao Yang's, making Xiao Yang's yang vaguely felt uneasy. Not good. The next moment, Xiao Yang's instinct, Sheng Yang's heart on his chest beat violently, and a tyrannical threat slowly filled the entire house. The sense of smell is good, but unfortunately the strength is too weak. A light voice slowly echoed in Xiao Yang's house. This is the Thunder Realm. Your Excellency is so sneaky, Xiao Yang said in a deep voice, but he knew that at this time, his house was completely wrapped by this guy's soul. If he wanted to fight recklessly, I am afraid. I'm not interested in these. If you don't want to die, just follow me. The tyrannical soul beam didn't say anything, and left a wriggling crack in Xiao Yang's house, and then stepped directly into it. Master, this. Xiao Yang frowned upon seeing this. Soul channel, interesting. Let's go, since others want to meet you, naturally we can't back down. It's just a small immortal rank 5th grade pharmacist. If you really want to move my disciple of the Soul Eater, I'm afraid today will be the day of your annihilation. Xiao Yang's body, the voice of the Soul Eater eloquently conveyed out, filled with an extremely proud self-confidence. This guy should be soul power, and only soul power can enter the soul channel. This can be said to be a battle between soul powers. This guy's soul power is so tyrannical, it should be someone behind her who helped her build a soul channel. This guy should be your biggest enemy in the second stage soul test, said Soul Eater. Crash. Xiao Yang closed his eyes when he heard the words, and then the dazzling soul power slowly came out of the body and poured into the wriggling soul channel. Is this the soul passage? Just poured into the mysterious space, and suddenly found that this place is boundless, as vast as a galaxy of stars, without any energy, without any danger, as if eternal. I don't see that you are really brave. The next moment, a milky white light beam slowly emerged, and then turned into a beautiful shadow. Obviously, she felt that Xiao Yang would not go to the meeting alone. On the milky white shadow, a tremendous pressure hit Xiao Yang, not only the suppression of the soul power, but even the suppression of the grudge. Why are you in such a hurry? Our battle will naturally meet in the second stage. Xiao Yang opened his mouth slightly, obviously already aware of this guy's identity. When he signed up, he vaguely knew Yun Qi's identity, and at the same time he knew that this Yun Qi would probably be Xiao Yang's most difficult opponent to deal with in the second stage. You are a good opponent. So, the soul is destroyed. The milky white shadow did not talk too much with Xiao Yang. The milky white halo suddenly appeared, and then attacked Xiao Yang, because she knew that this was the Thunder World, even if it was her master who did it, and she couldn't hide it for long. The dazzling soul power turned into a giant hand in the sky, with a tyrannical aura that would destroy the trees and rot, and attacked Xiao Yang. What a tyrannical attack! Xiao Yang saw milky white light suddenly emerge from his delicate body, and then blasted towards Xiao Yang. This level of attack is not something that ordinary powerhouses can issue. Hey, President of the Alchemist Association, when is it your turn to spend so much trouble for a junior? And just when Xiao Yang was about to start, a dazzling sound of thunder slowly entered the soul passage. Sounded. Duan Tianhong. At the same time, an old voice sounded indifferent, and the words were filled with inconceivable. How could this dignified overlord of the entire Eastern continent show up for a little Xiao Yang? President of the Alchemist Association, this Xiao Yang is also a member of your Alchemist Association. It's unreasonable for you to do this. Furthermore, Xiao Yang is the person I'm covering. If you want to move him, I'm afraid even you will have to weigh it. Lei Yin appeared slowly, but with an extremely tyrannical coercion of heaven and earth, he permeated the soul passage. If that's the case, let them compete well in the second stage. The president of the Alchemist Association felt the rare anger in Lei Yin, and he shook his head helplessly, and then shook it casually. Dissipated away. Senior, that is. With the disappearance of the soul space, Xiao Yang immediately asked. President of the Alchemist Association, a guy who is extremely troublesome in strength and soul, but is extremely partial to his precious disciple. According to this situation, it seems that he wants to use his strength to let his disciple and you before the test fight, so as to find out your details, or completely defeat you, so that you will take the initiative to admit defeat and lose your confidence in the competition. After all, among the many contestants in this second stage, you are the only one who can make these guys feel the pressure. Duan Tianhong's voice slowly sounded in Xiao Yang's mind. Don't worry, although Yunqi has a good talent, you are not much worse than her. I am looking forward to your competition. Du Tianhong finished speaking and slowly disappeared. Yunqi? Xiao Yang also nodded vaguely, but no matter how arrogant the opponent was, Xiao Yang would naturally not give away the reward for the first place in the second stage. Master, what happened just now? In Lei Cheng, Yunqi raised her eyebrows and asked her master. Just now she had clearly used a soul attack, and the next moment she was able to fight Xiao Yang, but she was interrupted. This guy Xiao Yang is also a member of our Alchemist Association, and I don't know what identity this guy is, so he can be so valued by Duo Tianhong. The president of the Alchemist Association wondered. Forget it, rest in peace, the competition is about to start. The next moment, the two of them finished speaking, but they didn't continue talking. After a night of silence, it was the next day in a blink of an eye. Finally, it's time for the second stage to officially start the competition. On this day, Xiao Yang got up early, went directly to call the three girls, and then walked towards the competition ground. Feiya is there too. Just brought Yu Ran to Liu Qing's residence, and immediately found that Liu Qing and Du Qifei were talking and laughing. Obviously, after Du Qifei completely absorbed the token of reincarnation, there was not much obvious happening. The change. Invisibly, it means that the time for reincarnation to wake up is still early. Let's go together. I don't want to participate in the second stage of the soul test, but I really want to see how the battle between soul powers is like. Du Qifei smiled slightly, her eyes full of beauty. A trace of curiosity, apparently all day long inside the Thunder Valley, made her feel fresh about many things. This guy. Xiao Yang also laughed when he saw Du Qifei's normal appearance. After a while, the four of them came out of the bamboo garden in a group. There are only so few figures in the second stage of the competition. Xiao Yang suddenly wondered when he saw that he was wandering outside the bamboo garden waiting for the competition. You must know that the first stage of the individual competition was attended by tens of thousands of people, and even more than 100 arenas were used. The scale was the first time Xiao Yang had seen in his life. Compared with the personal competition, this soul competition is tantamount to insignificant, because the number of people who signed up seems to be less than 1/10 of the first stage. That guy should be the strongest opponent in this soul competition. After a while, Du Qifei raised her hand slightly and pointed at a veiled figure in front of the crowd. Yunqi and Hua Fei from the Alchemist Association. Xiao Yang also laughed when he looked at the man and woman. However, for some unknown reason, he was vaguely hostile to the president of the Alchemist Association and Yunqi, but on the contrary, he continued to like Hua Fei and Tan Chen. Xiao Yang. His strength seems to have improved a lot again. Hua Fei naturally discovered Xiao Yang, and just wanted to say hello to Xiao Yang, but looked at Chen Ying beside him and suppressed his thoughts. Welcome all of you to participate in this competition. The next moment, a white-haired old man appeared slowly, and then spoke to the dozens of people. The soul of the knife-forging Thunder Valley. When Liu Qing saw the emptiness of the old man, he immediately frowned, obviously feeling a tyrannical pressure from it. Soul of Wonderland, this guy is not a fuel-efficient lamp. After saying a word helplessly, everyone became quiet and waited for the old man to announce the start of the game. Today is the second stage, the day of the soul competition, and the old man is the soul of the knife-forging Thunder Valley, and the person in charge of this competition, Lei He. The coercion of the soul suppressed many people present. Senior Lei He, is it time to announce the start of the competition? The next moment, the Tulle Qianying Yunqi gently wriggled the corners of her mouth, and then said, obviously very annoyed by this boring waiting. Hey, this time, the little doll is really impatient. But before the competition starts, I would like to advise you all. The sword has no eyes in the soul competition. If it loses its origin or falls in the competition, it is understandable. So everyone should think twice. Lei he said softly with an old and cunning look. This guy. Soul competition is so dangerous, or we retreat. Reserve the strength to deal with the third stage, otherwise in the second stage, if it fails, I'm afraid. Some experts with insufficient soul power in the Fairyland also spoke slightly, and their voices were full of fear. It affects their future achievements, so they dare not take such a risk to compete. If it's decided, then come with me. As soon as the voice fell, Lei he body suddenly, a circle of white and transparent soul power gently spread out like ripples, immediately wrapped his figure, and then formed a space channel. Let's go. The next should be a duel between the strong. Liu Qing smiled slightly, and then without any fear, the four jumped directly into it. What a huge arena. Just after entering the space passage, Xiao Yang and the others saw a huge arena with a radius of several thousand meters appearing in front of everyone. The arena was perfected by the dazzling soul power everywhere. The isolation is like a natural battle saint. Obviously this is the venue for this competition. Then the second stage of the soul test will begin. All the contestants came forward to draw lots. Draw lots on the right under Soul Power Wonderland, and draw lots on the left for those with soul power in Wonderland. This battle is divided into 2 battles, which are transformed into soul power. The upper and lower Fairyland are each a war zone. There will be 5 promotion places under the Fairyland, and 5 places will be competed for the same above the Fairyland. Come on. Lei, his fiery voice echoed in this huge arena. Finally. Has it started? Xiao Yang also smiled slightly, then separated from the 3 daughters, and slowly drew lots towards his side. Yu Ran and Liu Qing's soul power is close to the Fairyland, but they haven't reached the Fairyland yet, so it is natural to draw lots on the right side. As for Du Qifei, she just came to watch the play. Don't look at the fact that there are only dozens of people in this second stage, but the battle between soul powers will be wonderful. Senior sister, this way. Hua Fei said to Yun Qi. Outsiders didn't know, but Hua Fei knew. He and Yun Qi's master are currently the president and vice president of the Alchemist Association, and Tan Chen, the vice president of his master, is quite friendly and manages the affairs of the association, but its president is committed to accompany Yun Qi. He has been raised to be the next successor, so he has strict requirements on him, and he doesn't care about many things in the association, so naturally he has a preference for Yun Qi. There are only 10 people here. The next moment, looking at the 2 wooden boxes, the eyes of the dozens of people present narrowed, because at the right wooden box, only the soul of the Fairyland can reach. There were only 10 figures. The soul power of the 10 people on the right has reached the Fairyland, so they will directly compete for the top 5. As for the 76 people whose soul power is not as good as the Fairyland, is it controversial? Lei, he looking at the people who were divided into 2 levels, they started slowly. No problem. When these figures heard the words, they immediately cast envious glances at the 10 people next to them. After all, at such an age, one can reach the soul of Fairyland, and his future achievements are limitless. Hey, isn't this the famous Yun Qi from the Alchemist Association? As soon as I see it today, the soul power of such a source is really the strongest of our younger generation. Not long after, a seemingly harmless man among the 10 people glanced at the cloud under the veil prey. The exit said, under the eyes, a subtle fluctuation that was difficult for ordinary people to detect slowly emerged. People of the Shu family, keep your mouth shut, otherwise the disaster will come out of your mouth. Hua Fei casually glanced at the guy who came out, and found that this guy's soul power is at best a half-step Fairyland, a soul of this level. Strength, undoubtedly cannot confront them head-on. Are you the guy who defeated Pastoral in the first stage? I don't see any strength. However, the battle of soul power is not like a fight like fighting. If you lose, you should admit defeat as soon as possible, or you will lose your face as a champion of the first stage. The man couldn't help but turn his anger on Xiao Yang. Senior, it should be in accordance with the rules to do something here, right? Xiao Yang ignored the provocation of the Shu family man, and just looked at Lei He in the field. As long as you have enough power, then the rules can naturally be tilted against you, but remember, this is a soul test, and other powers are not good. Lei He said slightly, he also wanted to see this win the first stage champion. What kind of accomplishments are there on the soul power of the guy who defeated the favored son of the pastoral song? After all, this guy was personally instructed by the owner of the valley to take care of 1 or 2. In that case, Huangquan Tianwu. At the next moment, a soul attack containing dazzling soul fluctuations suddenly emerged from Xiao Yang's body, and then roared away directly at the Shu family man. The strength of its attack was far more than the general Fairyland soul powerhouse. Sure enough, he is a guy who has stepped into the realm of Tai Shu. Yun Qi's face hidden under the veil couldn't help but tremble. Xiao Yang's tyrannical soul attack made her feel terrified. Spiritual palace? How is that possible? And the man from the Shu family who was trying to provoke Xiao Yang just now had an extremely ugly expression on his face, and a steady stream of soul power emerged, ready to defend against him. However, Xiao Yang's soul power had reached the void realm after all, while the soul power of this Shu family man had only reached the half-step Fairyland, and the gap between the two was too obvious. The soul attack formed by Huangquan's anger, impartially, easily broke through the defense of the Shu family man, and then hit his head heavily. A scream suddenly echoed in this huge arena. It really deserves it. This guy is doing this on the basis of his mere half-step Fairyland soul power, and he deserves it. Seeing the Shu family man in the arena like this, he couldn't help but look at each other in dismay. It was not unreasonable that Xiao Yan could defeat the pastoral song. It's much quieter now. Anyone who doesn't agree, let's go together. Xiao Yang also helplessly shrugged, and then spoke to the other contestants present, his voice filled with an air of arrogance. This guy is really arrogant, but his strength and soul power are far from what we can match, let's forget it. The arena was quiet for a while, and all the figures who were present suddenly drew lots and prepared to start. Tested. First of all, there will be a top 5 competition. After the top 5 competition, there will be a competition between the top 5 and the top 10. In the first match of the top 5, Xiao Yang played against Leng Hanyang. Lei, his voice slowly filled the arena. 2, if you are ready, please enter. Seeing the figures of Xiao Yang and Leng Hanyang taking a step forward at the same time, Lei, he said immediately. The two clasped their fists together, and then jumped into the arena. This is the real home of the soul power contest. Lei Cheng Lungjia Leng Hanyan, please enlighten me. The two of them stood in the air. Opposite Xiao Yang was a woman wearing a grey skirt. The woman's figure was quite shapely, but the eyebrows, the hidden terrifying fighting intent is as cold as a poisonous snake. Xiao Yang, please enlighten me. Xiao Yang sneered and said the same. Soul of the spirit python. The next moment, Leng Hanyang directly mobilized the soul power in the soul realm within his body, and then formed a giant python with a size of hundreds of meters in front of it. The python carried an extremely fierce aura, and his eyes were fixed on Xiao Yang. There was no doubt that he would be seriously injured in an instant if he was hit by such a tyrannical attack. Soul power is the same as fighting qi. What's more, you have already condensed the spiritual palace in your soul realm. You only need to mobilize the soul power to condense it into a thing. Therefore, you can use the soul power to fight. One step. Just when Xiao Yang was in a hurry, the voice of Soul Eater slowly sounded. Xiao Yang's current soul power is naturally extremely terrifying. I am afraid that in the entire arena, just in terms of the majestic level of soul power, Xiao Yang is enough to rank in the top 3, but the tyranny of soul power does not mean that Xiao Yang can use it freely. Xiao Yang's use of soul power is only to use soul power for exploration and memory acquisition, and even soul attack. As for the means of soul power to transform, there is very little contact. Do not care. Soul Fire Tiger. The next moment, Xiao Yang also followed Leng Hanyang as he painted a gourd, but Xiao Yang really condensed a Soul Fire Tiger with red flames all over his body. This Soul Fire Tiger composed of soul power just appeared, and immediately brought an extremely unbelievable look to the people present. This guy is not only skilled in the use of vindictive energy, but even the control and use of soul power is so terrifying. I'm not as good as him. Looking at Xiao Yang in the arena, Hua Fei shook his head slowly. It was obvious that Xiao Yang's soul transformation method was beyond his reach. This guy's soul strength is not weak. If you face him, I am afraid there will be a fierce battle. Yun Chilio, who was hidden under the veil, frowned and said. At the moment when the two were talking, the battle in the field became more and more heated. Two invisible soul fluctuations collided suddenly, and a gust of wind suddenly formed in the arena, causing the entire arena to be filled with an extremely dangerous smell. The power of this guy's soul is as unfathomable as the deep sea. It seems that we must fight quickly. Controlling his spirit python, Leng Hanyan's eyes were locked on Xiao Yang. The soul of the python is composed of the purest soul power. The invisible body is vaguely transparent, completely wrapping Leng Hanyan's delicate body. However, the power of the Soul Fire Tiger displayed by Xiao Yang should not be underestimated. Combining soul power and vindictive flames, the power is much more tyrannical than other means. One move will determine the outcome. Xiao Yang looked at Leng Hanyang, who was barely supporting the pressure of his soul, and said softly. The difference in soul power between the two is too great, and Xiao Yang and this guy do not have any deep hatred, so there is no need to kill them all. Okay. Leng Hanyang snorted coldly, and more dazzling soul power suddenly emerged, and then the invisible soul python appeared. The soul of the wind python. An unquestionable low voice sounded from Leng Hanyan's mouth, and then a cyan hurricane completely enveloped the python's body. This guy, he still has some strength. It's a pity that his soul power is too weak compared to himself. Xiao Yang couldn't help but look at Leng Hanyan's soul of the wind python that combines his fighting spirit and soul power. There was a hint of shock. Although this woman's soul method was quite tyrannical, it did not cause much damage to Xiao Yang. The fury of the fire tiger. With his instinct, Xiao Yang directly roared the giant flaming soul tiger surrounding him. With a special wave, it slowly spread out towards the entire arena. This guy's soul skills are not weak. At this time, everyone present knew that this Xiao Yang was able to win the first stage championship. I am afraid it is not a lie. Lung Hanyang is about to lose. Looking at the two people who were constantly fighting each other with their soul power, Yun Chibei's lips wriggled slightly and shook his head. This defeat is too fast. Hua Fei couldn't help but said. Boom. The battle of soul power is not as simple as the battle of vindictiveness, and the outcome is decided between the hands. Crash. Every time the soul fire tiger displayed by Xiao Yang, he would release an extremely tyrannical soul shockwave, attacking Lung Hanyang. On the other hand, Lung Hanyan's wind python's soul was there is only a vague dungeon, so it is more and more difficult, and the outcome of the situation is quite clear. I lost. After a short confrontation, Lung Hanyang looked at Xiao Yang's increasingly terrifying soul fire tiger, shook his head slightly and admitted defeat. She knew that if Xiao Yang hadn't kept his hand, she would have been unconscious now. Accepted. With a wave of Xiao Yang's hand, the soul fire tiger was dissipated immediately. Although this battle was easy to win, the victory was that his own soul power was stronger than the opponent's. So simple. In this battle, Xiao Yang won and successfully advanced to the top 5. Looking at the appearance of the two in the arena, he went directly into the arena and announced the results of this round of competition. It seems that this guy named Xiao Yang will be a real dark horse compared to our East continent. It's not. According to his current soul power, I'm afraid it would be extremely easy to rank in the top 5 in the second stage. Many people couldn't help but say. Next, Hua Fei confronts Bai Lan. If the two of you are ready, let's go straight in. Old man Lei, he opened his mouth. There are only 10 people who participated in the second stage soul competition here. Only 10 people whose soul power has reached the Fairyland. As long as they defeat their opponents, they will undoubtedly be directly promoted to the top 5. Although other contestants have been complaining about his practice, but the Fairyland soul power is enough to explain many things, and the anger of these guys can only be secretly angry. Senior sister, I'm going. Hua Fei smiled at Yun Qi, and then the figure flew up and went towards the arena. Bai Lan, please enlighten me. The man who walked in front of Hua Fei was a man with a dignified masculinity. At first glance, he knew that he came from a famous family, and his soul power is also a real step into Fairyland, a distance from the early stage of Tai Shu. It is also only one step away, and the soul power of the two can be said to be comparable. Hua Fei has obtained the true biography of Vice President Tan Chen, and there should be no problem in entering the top 3. Yun Qi looked at Hua Fei's opponent and said softly. In any case, Tan Chen is also one of the most powerful disciples in Lei Cheng. The disciples he taught are naturally not bad. Boom. The two had just entered the arena, and the two would sit in the middle of the sky, and then began to close their eyes at the same time, and then a dazzling soul force kept entrenched on the top of their heads. Obviously the two wanted to use their souls. A real confrontation of forces. Soul handprint. At the next moment, Hua Fei took the lead in launching an attack, only to see that his whole body was filled with an invisible soul force, and then with the rapidly changing handprint on Hua Fei's palm, the soul in the arena, the power actually fluctuated in a special trajectory, attacking Bai Lan. The mystery of its attack is hard to guard against. Is this the soul forging technique unique to the Alchemist Association? It's really tyrannical. Seeing that the arena was filled with Hua Fei's soul power, and dangerous fluctuations were emitted everywhere, Bai Lan frowned and said, Soul ability, Nether Lock. The next moment, that Bai Lan didn't sit still, and a roar echoed directly throughout the arena, and with the sound of this sound, the whole arena was also filled with a rush of energy. A shocked look. No one would have thought that this Bai Lan would actually use his soul skills. Soul skills, simple and easy to understand, is to use special energy and spellcasting to compress one's majestic soul power to form an extremely tyrannical attack method. I didn't expect this Bai Lan to be able to use soul skills. It seems that Brother Hua Fei will inevitably suffer a little bit. After hearing the words, a group of powerhouses present immediately looked at each other in dismay. It was obvious that they clearly understood the tyranny of soul skills. And with this Bai Lan's actions, Xiao Yang's complexion couldn't help but become splendid, because the so-called soul skill that Bai Lan displayed was exactly the same as his own soul attack. This video will end here.